going on, guys? It's Iman Shumpert. I'm back at the crib. Shout out to Chicago Defender.
All right, so hi, my name is Portia King, and I'm interviewing you on behalf of the Chicago Defender. So happy to be sitting and chatting with you. I think the last time that we spoke, you may not remember, but was at the NBA AllStar weekend McDonald's event. So just what has life been like for you since NBA AllStar?
I didn't do anything that summer, and then I did Dancing with the Stars. I just did tour with Dancing with the Stars, but I don't think anything's changed with anything in my schedule besides just being a dad on a day-to-day. Nothing really changes.
All good. So we're going to definitely get to that. So as a former McDonald's AllAmerican player yourself, you got to speak with the new AllAmerican class. So I know it was probably a full circle moment, but can you just tell me a little bit about what that experience was like?
It was cool. We had a pretty open dialogue. I love doing things that allow us to break out of this like shell of perfection that kind of gets where we got to like get put in the lights and all this. It's like this you made it moment, and I think it's kind of cool to knock yourself off the high horse, so to speak. I think just having that open dialogue and people feeling like I almost want them to be encouraged to ask me questions. Feel like, man, he's more down to
Yeah, so of all of the gems that I'm sure you dropped to these young players, what's one that you would like to share with everyone else who wasn't privileged enough to be in the room with you?
I don't want to ruin their privilege too much, but if there's something that I usually do share to everybody else, my father a long time ago said, he said it during a time that it was a lot going on, and it was almost as if I was like the person, like you want to say something to yourself just sort of out loud.
Yeah.
I just happened to be sitting in the passenger seat, and he turned to me and said, the sooner you realize no one cares, the better off you're gonna be.
Ooh.
And I remember like my complaints for the day just, kind of leaving out and me really accepting that challenge of, this is the guy I look up to, and he's basically telling me stop looking for that safety net and just go for it. And I don't know if he thought it was gonna be that powerful for me, but it's one of my favorite quotes he's ever said.
I love that. I mean, that just uplifted me a little bit, but that's true. It's very true. But man, so you brought it up. So you brought up that you did a really big thing, and you said it kind of casually. However, you are the 2021 champion of Dancing with the Stars, right?
I didn't mean to downplay it if I did. It's
You
just
said it modestly.
I think it's very left for me. The moment I began to get tall or start feeling like I was taller than everybody else in the room, I kind of strayed away from doing any type of dancing. And I want to say I surprised myself with even as much fun as I ended up having going on the show. Getting to meet Daniela Karagach, and her introduced me to dance in a totally different way. She kind of realized early on I can't give him the standard talk that I give to anybody else. She just was like, he's very himself. She says that all the time, you're very yourself. But she made sure the whole time that, I laughed, I joked, and I enjoyed my experience. So it was a surprising experience coming along, but I'm really, really happy that I did it. And I'm happy that I then followed suit and went on the tour. Daniela taught me how to make poached eggs on the tour. I've been telling everybody about this, but I know how to make poached eggs now, and I never knew how they got like that. But yeah, she taught me how to do it on a tour bus in a microwave. It's crazy.
Okay, well, man, the benefits of jumping without that safety net, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can say that as a Chicagoan, the city was so proud. Like just from being in Chicago, almost everywhere I would go or different social groups, everyone would talk about it. So we were proud, and I can just say that seeing you Footwork hit the 40 on national TV was truly just a gem to watch. So question, did you have to learn how to footwork and hit the 40s, or did you just already know how to do that?
The 40s is like, I mean, we don't know how to do the 40s. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like standard Chicago stuff. Footworking, I think we always joked around about it. Like, I've never actually footworked, but as a kid, I remember like mimicking what my friends was doing, or like, and understanding like, bro, I'm never gonna put the time in to actually get my feet to do that. But it's cool. I appreciate it. It's dope. I would laugh in the club. I mean, not in the club, in like the parties or something. You laugh and joke around and act like you're gonna footwork, and then never actually go through with a routine. So to actually put a whole routine together, like, it just felt good to have, you know, another Chicagoan chemo fly out there, teach us, for Daniela to embrace something different. After she was like, you just did 9 weeks of ballroom, like I could do 1 week of footwork. And for her to do it and really buy into it, like really commit, it was a special moment, I think, not only for people that viewed it. For me, it meant a lot, like for my friends, for my family, like to know, like, yo, you about to footwork on national television. Just like everybody was spazzing about that. So I was very appreciative of Daniela for even allowing us to share that moment, because it's so often that Chicago, I just hear so many things about Chicago, and like I see Chicago, I tell people all the time, I see it as Gotham. Like I see it as Dark Knight, Batman, architecture, all the parties is fun, all the food is good. You know, that's how I see Chicago, and I hear like people who like have this mindset of seeing it like it's a war zone all the time, and all these bad things. And I try and remind them as much as possible all the beautiful things Chicago got going on. But Daniela to let me bring that little piece of Chicago to national television, like I forever appreciate her as my friend.
It was beautiful to see. Not only did you do it, but you hit it. Like,
oh yeah,
you actually snapped. Like I have friends who were dancers, and they were like just completely taken aback. Complete props to you on that. And I love that you brought up Chicago. So speaking of the McDonald's AllAmericans, what are 3 things that will go on your checklist to make sure somebody is an all Chicagoan?
All right, now this is a very opinionated question. So if I got a checklist for somebody being a Chicagoan, I need your favorite pair of Jordans. I need to know where your granny stay. And I need to know your area code.
Okay, and your area code. Okay, so not what high school you went to.
Nah, because I know a lot, like I have friends that, you know, they go to this high school, they live next to me, you know.
Yeah.
I got all type of friends that transfer so they can play on their homie team. And so I think those are 3 solid things of keeping up with the city and keeping up with people, knowing how to move around people. I think those 3 questions are pretty good on the checklist.
Okay, all right. So last but not least, well, actually the final question. So what are you working on now? What do you have coming up? What's next for Mr. Iman?
I got some acting gigs that's gonna come out, a couple of acting projects.
Okay.
I'm set to be doing my first movie, and then I'm finally gonna drop my album. Because Dancing with the Stars kind of like butchered my whole timeline as far as dropping my album. But it actually helped me gain a lot of momentum and open the door for a new audience to, you know, kind of embrace my story. So I think it's actually within perfect timing to drop my album now. I think people are gonna be pretty excited.
Okay, so how many things is that? So let's see, we have athletes. Can we
you know what it is?
Dancer, rapper, actor.
At this point,
coach and cooker.
I'm just a guy. at this point, like I really feel like my whole life I was like watching my dad, and I start realizing as a man, like you just can't stop adding things to yourself. You know, like I think that's the thing about men that, you know, almost bring a woman peace when you watch that husband-wife relationship. All the older couples I ever, you know, grew up around or actually paid any attention to, it seemed like that older guy, you know, either he was working on a car or he's trying to put together, you know, a stove from scratch, you know, just to prove it to his wife that he could do it. But there's always like this new thing that he's teaching himself on the fly to constantly prove to himself, to her, that, you know, that he got or whatever it is. And I, you know, though I think that in 2022 now we've graduated from this like only seeing hard work as manual labor that makes your hands bleed. Like I just sort of placed the work. It's still the same thing to me, but I've now divvied it up into all these different professions that hopefully it, you know, me laying my platter out like this for my little girls, I want them to see no limitation in what they can do. My mind wasn't open to something like this until I'm, you know, having a back and forth conversation about my contract in the NBA. And it's like, that's what birthed me saying, you know what, I'm gonna say yes to this and this and this, and I'm gonna just try it now because I'm not on the team. I think it'd be cool for my kids to grow up witnessing me doing this, because even before they hit that limit of another profession, they'll already be going into everything open-minded, that they don't have to stay in one lane. They just have to keep themselves on the gas. And that's,
yeah. Man, I love that you said that you are continuing to try new things, say yes. It's powerful, yeah. And it's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful.
Thank you.